Autoscoop with Adam Goldfine and Joyce Littell.
You know, not only does Richard have stories of cases that he has, handled, but, the viewers. Who better to talk than the viewers?
No one.
No one.
It's real world happening right now.
All right, you ready?
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
You ready? Well, Brandon has been holding on. If you hold on for as long as he has, that means he has a story to tell. Brandon, you're on Autoscoop. What's your story and what's your question?
Good morning, you guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I was calling about an accident that happened about a year ago. I started a small business last year. Bought a new truck, brand new truck. An older gentleman pulled out in front of me, and it just straight put my life on hold. My vehicle, went in the shop for about 4 months. The insurance company just dragged the legs on going out and doing the additional estimates, and I mean, it's just a one big runaround. And now I have the vehicle was repossessed during the time it was at the shop, and since that time I haven't worked because that was my means of income. I want to know what is it that I can do about that, because I had talked to attorneys, but most of the attorneys I talked to were saying, hey, if you don't have a broken leg, I don't want to deal with it. And the gentleman said something before, you guys went to break, don't make a mountain out of a molehill. And that's something I'm not trying to do, trying to get out. Hey, I was in an accident, call a lawyer, go to Cairo, get paid. But I'm like a lot of Americans. I don't have insurance, so I went to a local hospital and sat there almost 26 hours and didn't get solved. So I eventually had to go to a Cairo that had a medical doctor there who checked me out and what have you. But it's just been an unfortunate situation. I never saw this coming. I was totally blindsided. I need another vehicle now to try to get my business off the ground, but I'm just in a
So were you hurt at all, or no, it was all just property damage on the vehicle?
Yes, sir. I was hurt. Initially at the accident, they said it was an older gentleman. I was so afraid, I was so scared. I was like, man, I hope he wasn't hurt too bad. Even though he was in the wrong, he received 2 citations, I was hurt. But much later is when I really started having problems, just simply laying in bed, having to put pillows up under my knee and, under my stomach to relieve the pressure at night when I'm trying to sleep.
Sure.
And that was the majority of my injuries. And I'm an auto glass technician. I have to pick windshields up and set them in there and cut them out. And, it's a very, active job. I need my back. I need to be able to do the work. It's just in an awful place now.
Did you ever settle with the insurance company?
No, sir, I did. The rental car company, they sent me a bill for like $700, and the insurance company told me they wanted to give me $1,000. I mean, it was ridiculous. My vehicle's property damage was almost $12,000 to have that vehicle replaced. It was $11,000. It was 2006 F-150.
Did they total the vehicle, or was it just damage?
Man, they fixed the vehicle, but every time they would go down to it, they would find something else. They would call the insurance company. They would take almost a week to get out there, and it's just like it was. I paid $266 a month for insurance, full coverage on a brand new vehicle. I'm 32 years old. It's just, they seem like being a little guy, I'm just getting stomped on, even though I did everything I was supposed to do as far as my 1099s, reporting my wages.
Well, hold on 1 second, okay?
Okay.
I mean, Richard, from his standpoint, if somebody's in an accident and they have damage to a vehicle, it's not totaled, and they've had some personal injury, right? And they have not settled with the insurance company, what should they do, when the accident was a year ago?
Well, the first thing that you need to do is I will be glad to talk to you if you want to call my office, because that's a case we can help you with. There's some attorneys that they have small caseloads and they have small staffs, and they're only going to handle the huge cases. We handle cases of all sizes, and we're glad to help people regardless of the size of the case. If it's somebody who's injured and there's clear liability, then they should call us and we can help them through this. You've got 1 year left on the statute, and if that runs, if it's 2 years from the date of the accident, then it's finished with regards to the
And I guess
personal
that's the first point that we need to bring out, that it's a clock, like a stopwatch, right? From the minute the accident happens, we've got 2 years.
Right.
And then that's it.
And often, the closer it gets to the statute, it seems the slower the insurance adjusters begin to operate, because they're looking at the clock to wind down on the game, and the game's over. So you
really,
definitely
they'll stop in the middle like that?
Well, insurance companies
Are
are
you looking like they do?
You know how sometimes you tell me, Adam, you know how you are? You know when you sometimes give me the old, like, come on, be real now?
Right.
Are we all going to sit up here and pretend that the insurance companies want to pay?
Right. Well,
Stop
we know
now.
better.
We know better. We know when
they
you have,
want you to pay them.
Right.
But they don't want to pay out.
And listen, I'm not the personal injury attorney. Okay,
Right.
but I'll tell you what I heard. I heard a guy who's running up against the statute of limitations. I heard a guy who the insurance company, I don't know, it's a question of bad faith or not.
Right.
Here he has bills. The guy was obviously out of work, in pain, and had a property damage case, and they didn't do anything about it.
Did he say that the vehicle was repossessed because
he couldn't make the payments?
He couldn't make the
because he
payments?
lost his job, because he didn't have anybody to
Right.
help him with the lost wages and the settlement from that standpoint, and to slow
Right.
down the bank. The other interesting thing was, it wasn't totaled, so he's got an F-150 with a lot of diminished value, and we've talked about that before,
Right.
and that's something you can help him with also.
absolutely.
And so you have a scenario where it's property damage, it's diminished value, and then it's personal injury, it's lost wages, it's pain and suffering, and he was offered $1,000.
And
it
he
certainly-
paid $266 a month.
that is a great example of how it truly can be a domino effect. I mean, so easily your car doesn't get repaired timely. If you get an attorney involved early, hopefully those things are going to fall into place where your car is going to get repaired properly, quickly. You have a rental car when you need it, and you can get a diminished value recovery so that you can be paid for the loss in value to that vehicle. When
But
you
you know
trade
what?
that in, even after the repairs, it's not going to be worth the same amount.
The biggest thing and the most important thing that you've said out of all those other great things is to know that people can call you, free, and then you can determine whether or not you'll take the case based on that. We'll be back. Welcome back to Autoscoop. Thanks for joining us. We're talking about real life stories when you have been involved in an accident. And if you have a real life story, we do have a personal injury attorney here that can help you, Richard Griffin, and he will definitely give you his information. Please take it down so you can give him a call. One of the biggest things that he has said is that it's absolutely free. So take advantage of the opportunity. Let's go back to the phones and talk to Aisha, who's calling from Powder Springs. Aisha, what's your question for Richard and Adam Goldfein?
Hi, my question is, I was a passenger and I was in an accident, and they're saying that the insurance company, only one of them is accepting 50% liability. So right now my case is on hold. What happens?
I didn't hear part of it. She said, you have insurance or you don't have insurance?
No. What I'm saying is I was a passenger in somebody's car.
She was a passenger. Yeah.
Right. And did the driver have insurance?
The driver had insurance, and the other person that hit them had insurance. And my insurance, my lawyer, they're going back and forth now because they wasn't issued a ticket because I live at a three-way stop sign that literally happened right outside my house.
Right.
And they're saying that one company is accepting 50% liability and the other one is not accepting none, so it's putting me at a hold.
Gotcha. So this is a very interesting question. What happens to the passengers in an automobile, and when they're injured, what rights do they have? Is it only the driver? Could you represent just the passenger?
You certainly can. The biggest issue that has to be established is liability. When there's an accident, it isn't always 100% at fault here and 0% there. Sometimes there are 50-50, and the insurance companies or the attorneys, if it's litigated, are going to ask a jury after the facts are presented who's at fault and in what degree, and then the recovery wouldn't be, it'd still be 100% recovery, but it would be divvied up between the negligent parties and the insurance companies that cover them.
What happens if they find out that that you were 20% at fault? Do you only get 80% of the remedy, or did you risk ever not getting it? It's always the percentage.
Well, unless you're more at fault than they are, and
if
then,
you're 51% at
then you
fault,
probably would get no recovery.
then you get nothing.
Get out of here.
Look at that.
And a lot of times these cases.
But I mean, when
Look
that
at you.
when that
It's
were
so
to,
funny. You're like, get out of here.
when that were to happen, I mean, so it's like a he say she say type of thing.
You hope that it isn't. I know one of the things we talked about the last time I was on the show was what do you do when you're in an accident? And what you do when you're in an accident is, number one, get the information of any witnesses, because you do not want it to be a swearing contest where one driver says this, the other driver says that. If it is, then the burden of proof is on the plaintiff. If we're going to court, we've got to prove our case. We've got to prove that they are at fault.
But that also raises why you need an attorney, because if you don't have an attorney and you're trying to do this yourself and you get into this he said, she said, you're up the creek.
You are, and I get calls every single week from people who, you know, maybe they were a little hesitant about getting an attorney. Some people don't want to get an attorney because they figure, you know, I don't want to sue anybody. And to those people, I tell them, look, you don't have to sue them to have a recovery, a fair recovery from an insurance company. Whether you sue them or not is completely up to the client.
Give your phone number again, because
Okay.
back on the point of if someone wants to talk to you for free, we want them to. I want you to have a very busy day today because I want the viewers out there to make sure they get the coverage that they deserve, the money they deserve, you know, that they're entitled to, and the protection. And when we come back, I also want to talk to you about the protection, okay?
Right.
So what's your phone number? And slow,
Okay.
2 times.
404-303-8400. 404-303-8400.
And here's an example I'm thinking about. What happens when, let's say, you have a lot of medical bills, $100,000 worth of medical bills, but your insurance doesn't cover it? Well, is that something you could help them with?
Yes.
I mean, there are going to be times when you're going to want an attorney, not necessarily because we're getting money, but we're going to protect you from going bankrupt. We're going to protect you from, you know, when you're out of your job, from losing that car. We need to protect you as well. This is the time, and I don't like the word entitlement, but this is the time you are entitled. You've been injured. You're a victim.
Right.
We need to make sure that somebody's fighting
you got
for
to
you.
take the heart out of it and look at it. It's business. I mean,
Right.
you got to deal with it from a business standpoint, because
that's
we do have a problem sometimes with saying, "Well, I don't want to because." No, it's business.
And the insurance companies always look at it as business. That's for sure.
That is for sure.